Hello, my name is David Webb, and this is a video for Dweebovision. I am a Scrabble grandmaster, and in this video I am going to play Scrabble while providing in-game commentary on my moves. Hopefully this will help to improve your game and be fun to watch. The game has just started, so let's join the action. Wow, I have a bumper number of high scoring tiles. I have 3 of the 4 highest scoring tiles. I have the J, the Q and the Z. Ordinarily one would be looking to play the Q as a priority, but in this instance we can't play the Q, but we can play the J and the Z by playing Jay-Z. That is a nice play. It scores well, 46 points, and it gets rid of 3 troublesome tiles in the J, the Z and the Y. They're all tiles you want to play fairly quickly and score with, because they don't feature in many bingos. I'm sure this is the best play with this rack. Great, and I now have the I to go with the Q to make chi, and I also have an A and a T which makes cat. So I would hope to be able to play the Q on my next move. Let's just scroll down to keep track my opponent's score and any challenges. Cat plays underneath Jay-Z, and I can also play chi above the I of Bint. Okay, let's consider these options. So QAT, that scores 25 points. It leaves the I on the rack, which is a good thing given that I've got a G, because the G is primarily useful for words ending ing. Chi above Bint would score 24, which is 1 fewer point. Cat above Bint, making a Bi and T, scores 26 points. That actually might be better than the 25 here. The problem with the cat underneath Jay-Z is that it allows my opponent to play an I underneath the Q, whereas this placing doesn't allow that option, and it scores 1 extra point, as well as obstructing the use of the N as a floater. Of course, it also has the downside of giving my opponent access to the parallel row, or row I, immediately under Jay-Z. There's probably not a great deal in it. Well, there's not, but I do have the I. So maybe this is better. And also with the I and the G, by playing cat here, I'm leaving the N of Bint free to make an ing ending word. Okay, I think I've convinced myself. And I have got heisting and nighties and thingies, all through the T of Bint. don't think I've got a 7-letter bingo. And I can't see anything through the N of bint. So let's hope the T remains open. If the T is taken, I'll probably be looking to play one of my duplicate I's, and the obvious place to play that is underneath the Q of cat. It would be nice to play the G as well to make jag. Oh great, he's played peck, so the T is free for a bingo. The question now is, which bingo do I play? Nighties, thingies or heisting? Okay, we can eliminate thingies because thingies takes a T hook at the end, therefore thingies would open up row O. So it's between nighties and heisting. They both score the same. I think I prefer heisting. I think the E is a less dangerous vowel to put next to the double word square. My pickup is not too bad. I don't think I have a 7-letter bingo. There probably are a number of 8-letter bingos with the right floater, but the only floaters on this board are the H, E and I of heisting. I don't think any of those make a bingo. I note that Jap takes an E on the end to make jape. I'm over 100 points in the lead, which is good. Okay, my opponent has played Ane, offering up 2 new floaters in A and I, but I have a vowel-heavy rack, so those floaters do not help me in terms of enabling an 8-letter bingo. Right, I've just seen a nice-ish play. Let's see what it looks like. As soon as I can't play a bingo, I'm looking to find a benchmark play, which is really any play which is reasonably good, such that I can then look for plays that are better. So colon is my benchmark play. It scores 29 points. It takes out several floaters. It doesn't create many openings for my opponent, so overall it's a good play. The rack leave of EIN isn't terrible. So I think I will play this. And that's not a good rack. I have no high scoring tiles. I have a predominance of vowels. I don't have any bingos. So my priority with this rack will be really just to sort it out and leave myself with a decent leave to draw to. Okay, my opponent scores 42 for fear, which is a good score. Well, this isn't easy. There are very few openings on the board. And by playing with this rack, playing anything with this rack, I'm likely to score very few points and create openings. But I don't feel that the rack is so bad that I should be changing. I notice that BY takes an A in front of it. What to do? Gosh, this is tough. Let's see how this looks. Alienate scores a dismal 9 points. The rack leave is just 2 vowels. And I'm opening several floaters for my opponent, including the E. I really don't like this play. And it's possible that changing would be superior to this, but given that I'm in the lead by over 70 points, I like the idea of playing off tiles to expedite the end of the game, so that's done. And this is not a bad rack at all. It's not a bingo rack, either with a 7 or an 8, but there are good high-scoring tiles, including the X. So I've been quite fortunate in this game with the J, Q, Z and the X. My opponent clearly has had an atrocious rack with both the V's. So, what to do with this rack? I'm looking to play the X and play one of the I's. I'm fairly sure this isn't the best play, but let's just have a look at the score. 26 points. Can I do better than that? Ooh. I've just seen something quite nice. I'm hesitating over Hoxed. Maybe I should retain the X and sort out the duplicate I. Maybe a play like Hoy for 33 points, and keeping the X, I am going to score well with it. Yes, I quite like this play. The rack leave is good. And my opponent's play of Vav has really taken out the floaters of the A and the L of Alienate. Yeah. Okay, I have duplicate I, but given that I still have the X, the duplicate I and the preponderance of vowels on my rack, just 4 to 3, means that this rack should not be problematic. My opponent challenged my last move, so I get an extra 5 points, which I believe in this particular software is reflected in a deduction of 5 points from my opponent's score. Playing in a face-to-face game at a tournament, ordinarily one would add the 5 points to your score. Right, I'm 100 points in the lead, which is good. And I have the X, which is also good. There aren't a great number of places to play the X. But one nice spot would be Dixie through the I of Alienate. It doesn't score a huge amount, but it does take out the floating E of Alienate, which is probably the most dangerous floater on the board. Well, my opponent gets 33 points for Sift. Offers the floater of T, but that doesn't help me. Dixie for 26 points. ILO isn't a great leave. And there may be something better than Dixie. But I can't see it, so Dixie it is. And this is good. I've picked up the K, and the K goes on the end of Hoy to make Hoik. So although the rack is a long way from a bingo, there is still some potential, but my opponent has blocked that particular spot with Mog. Right, there aren't any obvious moves jumping out at me. There are 32 tiles in the bag, 7 on my opponent's rack. I've got under 6 minutes on the clock, so I can't spend too long thinking about this move. Right, I can see a move, but it's quite... well, in some ways it's quite dangerous, but let's see what it scores. Milko scores 31 points. It does open up the triple word squares, but the M is not a particularly dangerous letter. I'm unlikely to be hit by a bingo which uses that M. What's not so good about the rack is the leave of G and U. Gosh, I'm fairly sure this is not the best play. But it can't be terrible with scoring 31 points. Right, that's one of the problems of keeping a U, the risk of drawing another one. And I note that no U's have been played yet, so I shouldn't be too surprised that I drew a second U. I do have the word unwet, which plays next to the G of heisting, which sorts the rack out quite nicely. Well, it leaves G and U, which isn't great, but compared to what the rack is at the moment, it is. Oh, I have a lovely word. I have nutmeg through the M of Milko. The leave of UW is ghastly, but at least now I've got options. I've got unwet at the bottom right and nutmeg at the top left. I am conscious of the time. 4 minutes 19 seconds is not a huge amount of time, so I am going to have to pick up the pace. I like nutmeg because it takes out the most dangerous spot, although bingos through the M are unlikely. Were my opponent to get one, it would bring him right back into the game. Okay. I've now got both W's, but it's a reasonably balanced rack in terms of vowels and consonants. So I should be able to play my way through this. I do have outlaw, which plays next to the G of heisting, and also burns 6 tiles. Looking at the tiles that are left in the bag, they're quite bingo friendly. But there aren't a great deal of bingo openings on the board. The T of sift is dangerous. Mog takes an S on the end. Bingos beginning with N at A1 are unlikely. Okay, my opponent does play a bingo. And he's also taken my outlaw spot. Right, what to do? I've got 3 minutes left. Okay. There is an outlaw I can still play. $18 points. I think that's okay. And I can play outlaw again from the O of outlaw. So let's see if that remains open. Yes, it does. 31 points for my opponent. He's only 43 points behind. There's 6 in the bag, so outlaw's quite nice because it leaves 1 in the bag. 30 points, that's a good score. PR, that's a good leave. And rather usefully, my opponent's play of YA has blocked the S hook on the end of Mog. So this game is looking quite favourable in terms of a win for me. Great, I draw the last blank. Sorry, I draw one of the two blanks, since neither blank has been played yet. My opponent probably does have a bingo, or is very close to one. If he does have a bingo, I can't see where he's going to play it, but were he able to play it, he would still have to draw the final tile in the bag, so I would have an opportunity of scoring with my rack, and that's the reason you leave one tile in the bag. If I'd played 6 tiles instead of the 5 for outlaw, then there would be no tiles in the bag, and if my opponent could bingo out, he would certainly win. But I don't think that's going to happen. Okay, my opponent has played VAE, VAE, at 9C. Let's see where that is. Yep, underneath VAV. Right, he's played actually just 1 tile, so he still has got 7 tiles on his rack. So I must be careful not to open a bingo lane. That shouldn't be too hard. Well, I think I will open a bingo lane, but I don't think he'll be able to take advantage of it. Drop scores 23 points. He would need to have a bingo ending in the P, and I can see all the tiles on his rack. I don't think there is a bingo ending with the P. I'll be sickened if there is. Because then this would be the only, pretty much the only losing move. Well, I'm short on time, so there it goes. I am 88 points ahead. I have at least 2 places where I can play all my letters next move. I have only 29 seconds left, so I will need to play fairly quickly. But I have Ran and Na at J1, and I also have Nor at 11B, also making Och and Ro. Run and Yar at M9. Well, there are many opportunities. My opponent has over 9 minutes on his clock, so he has plenty of time. I don't know how long he will spend looking for a bingo ending with P. I don't think he's going to find one. No, he's played bear. So I have Nor down here. For 12 points. Okay, I'm going to play that. I suspect I would have scored more making the Ock and row. I didn't want to go over time. Great, that's the end of the game. I'm sure there's a quick way of replying, but I'll reply to him after the end of this video. Well, I think that was a jolly interesting video. A few interesting spots. We had the J and the Z and the Q all together on one rack, and we didn't play the Q, or I didn't play the Q straight off. So I hope you enjoyed watching that video. My name is David Webb, and this has been a video for Dweebovision.